Hey, welcome and thank you for tuning into the show today. My name is Daniël-James. This is the DJM.Design Show, formerly MoneyBru, or you can call me the MoneyBru. It's going to be exciting. We have an amazing guest, Anne-Marie. We have food that we're going to try. There's different segments, so stay tuned for that. There's like 5 to 6 videos that get separated. Manny the Mannequin is going to reveal what food we get to enjoy. We have our like, share, subscribe, and comment card.
I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you. Come along and see it's true, but the world is pretty cold. You might need a sweater.
Let me tell you a little bit about Anne-Marie and this first topic that we're talking about. Anne-Marie is amazing. She's a counselor. She helps with a bunch of different things like going from trauma to addiction to you name it, narcissistic abuse, really systemic things that are important to worry about, to know about in the business, in your life, as a woman, as a man. I think this is going to be huge. Anne-Marie, tell our guest about you and like your qualifications. Why should they listen to you?
Well, I just recently got my master's in science for addiction counseling.
Cool.
And I'm working to become a designated recovery coach. So I'm a Recovery Coach Academy graduate.
Nice.
Really love the peer-to-peer space of assisting people.
Yeah, and I know you ski, right? You do this crazy thing on skis that I was always wondering about. Like, what is that called?
I telemark ski,
Cool.
which means you don't have the heel in a binding.
Okay.
So it's a free heel lifestyle.
Nice.
Yeah, where you get really low, you do a lot of
Cool.
deep knee bends, and it's really cool because you're very much in touch with the earth.
Yeah, and I think that's huge. Like, I mean, I don't like those like bunny, like those little hobbles and stuff, but I love snowboarding and it's just such a good time. I bumped into Anne-Marie and I knew she would be an amazing woman for the show. And the first topic, guys, that I want us to go through and that she's really passionate about is a little bit about her story, but also about being a narcissistic abuse survivor on this podcast and the overlap for business owners. But I know you guys come here for business and I want to give some grace out because we want to just understand this as an audience, right? I need to understand this. So let's begin there and I want to start with that and understand this because like we need education to be able to move forward in society.
Right, you're speaking to a lot of people in business settings, right? So
Right.
I do want to talk about narcissistic abuse as it occurs in the workplace.
Okay.
Basically, narcissism is a term that's getting thrown around a lot right now. And, you know, he's a narcissist, she's a narcissist, da da da, and that's actually, you know, not really true.
Yeah, catch yourself.
Yeah, I think narcissism does exist, and it exists on a lot of different levels, like many different personality traits. It's on a spectrum.
Okay.
But when we're talking about adaptive narcissism, that's basically business leaders who feel good about themselves, believe in their product, and can talk confidently.
Right.
That's someone in an adaptive narcissistic style, right? Because they have confidence, and that's and that's important.
Yeah.
We
So
all,
it's not necessarily wrong.
No.
That's an adaptive behavior, but so that's interesting. Okay, I understand that now. So that technically, I think as humans we think narcissist is bad.
Right.
And is it bad?
Well, if it's maladaptive.
Okay.
Right, and it involves taking advantage of others and harming others, lying to promote yourself.
Wow.
Malignant or maladaptive narcissists, right, can really take advantage and exploit others in the workplace.
How does someone become a maladaptive narcissist, and why is this happening?
Well, it is actually classified narcissistic personality disorder as a cluster B personality disorder in the DSM-5. It is, it's a personality disorder because it creates a lot of havoc and a lot of chaos in relationships.
Totally.
This type of maladaptive narcissism where people are so hungry for praise and so hungry to be recognized that they'll do anything to get there. They'll lie about their accomplishments.
Dang.
They will take advantage of hardworking people and co-opt their ideas.
Wow. Is this mental illness? Is it? I guess it's both spectrums, right? Some people are mentally ill and some people are just downright maybe missing the point and they're so far down the rabbit hole, or what is that?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly, I think, involves a lack of insight. And you asked, how does this happen?
Yeah.
And I think it's, this is where researchers come in, and that's not my strength. But what I've learned is that it can actually be a product of DNA.
Interesting.
Right? You can have, I mean, a lot of behaviors are actually caught.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. if you're not,
and not
like
taught.
Yeah.
Right. So if you grow up in a narcissistic environment and you see how a parent or
Yeah.
someone in your family uses
Yeah.
others and
It's like a family curse.
it
Like,
could be a family
yeah,
curse.
yeah.
I agree with that. But also thinking around how people are grown up. If you have or are raised, if you have a lot of neglect as a young child, or if you're over-parented, you know,
right.
either end of that, you know, that spectrum or that pendulum swing, if you will, can develop a lot of different personality disorders, and
Sure.
and narcissism is one of those.
So the flip side here, and I think this has been, I mean, in my story and in your story, I've heard your story, and today I want you to, you know, share as much as you're comfortable with, but also just, you know, we respect your privacy as well as a person. I've had stuff like this happen in my life. And on the flip side, as a victim of narcissistic abuse, tell us about that. How do you navigate that? Just to give people perspective at home, Anne-Marie's dealt with many a times these situations, and I think you've also dealt with them yourself. But I think for them to know, you know, at home, wherever they're watching, what does a victim do, and what is your story in that?
Well, I was in a really
Sure.
in a lengthy marriage with someone who would classify
Sure.
on the narcissistic spectrum.
Sure.
Someone who basically, you know that you're in a narcissistic pattern with someone if you're devalued, if you're
Wow.
if you're told that you're crazy, if you're told that you're wrong, if you're constantly berated.
Verbal abuse.
Verbal abuse, right?
Yeah.
And verbal abuse is abuse.
That's a red flag. Yeah.
It's a red flag, and you see this also in the workplace.
Yeah.
The other thing that narcissists do, or people with high narcissistic traits do, is they create an environment where they have others on their team who they're talking smack about you to, you know, whether it be in the family situation with children or close
Yeah.
friends,
Dang.
or in a work situation where you have a boss who's,
Yeah.
you know, creating these alliances.
Exactly.
And-
yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah, right?
What's the solution? Why? What was your solution?
Well, I had to actually get out.
Sure.
I had to get out, but by
So
that,
step one, remove
yeah.
yourself.
Well, I mean, I think that's an important thing. I was teaching yoga at a really cool gym.
Cool.
I took a steam bath after a class, which I love to do. And just to give an analogy here, I was, after teaching and after having a wonderful class with my wonderful students, I got into my steam bath and I was sitting in there, and this guy came in, this is pre-COVID,
Yeah.
and started coughing.
Oh no.
Just coughing and coughing, right? And he was there, I think, to probably loosen his phlegm.
Not a good place to do it.
But it was just me. And it would be fine if someone else just came in, or several people came in, we were just all in the steam bath. But this guy was hacking and hacking.
Be executed right now.
And I was telling myself, right, that I need to stay here. I need to practice my peace. I've evolved so much as a person, and I understand.
So exercising that in that moment, realizing like this is a time for you to do something.
Well, this was a time actually for me, I was convincing myself that I could be here, I could maintain my peace, that I was, and finally, after a few more minutes, I was like, I don't have to be here.
Totally.
You know? And I also don't have to confront this guy.
No.
Right? And tell him, dude, get out of here. What are you doing? You know,
like that.
You're wrecking my steam bath.
Yeah.
Right? But I decided, you know, I need to get out of the steam bath.
Totally.
You know, I don't have to be peaceful. I don't have to hold on to this when clearly this is not an environment in which I'm going to thrive or have my needs met.
I like it.
Right? So getting out of the steam bath. So
Okay, that's one.
there's a really simple acronym.
Okay.
It's DEEP.
Deep.
Right? So we don't want to ever defend
Okay.
the narcissistic behavior. We never want to explain the narcissistic behavior.
Cool.
We do not want to engage with
Right.
it. So that's kind of getting out of the steam bath.
Awesome.
You know, sometimes even finding another job,
Yeah.
right? And we don't want to personalize
Yes.
that, because what happens over time is the narcissistic abuse creates in you this vacancy
Yeah.
of identity.
Wow.
And they do that so that you're disempowered, so that you don't have a voice, and they can continue to
It wrecks
to have
your-
affairs, to do
wrecks your life.
terrible things,
Yeah.
you know, financially, in a company, perhaps to run it into the ground, but
Totally.
pretend like everything's on board, whatever it is.
Take someone out. It's really sad. Like, and I think all of us know that this exists and it's happening.
It's happening.
It's cool. There's a lot more I'm gonna get into in the next segment.
There's a lot more.
Let's do our taste test. The first thing we have is from Manny the Mannequin. I'll let you open it. And you pull out the first one and you can tell us what exactly we're tasting. So the first one up front. So if it's hard to pronounce, I'll help you, but you can butcher it too.
Is that an O or a C?
An O and I.
Rooibos?
Yes, you got it. So Anne-Marie's actually been to Cape Town. So you're familiar with South African stuff.
A little bit.
So this is part of the show. We're gonna try out rooibos and see what you think. I'm gonna just drop this guy down here, that's fine. This is mine. Mine has milk and you can steep it. You can get all of these ingredients in America.
It's a tea.
Yeah, it's a tea.
Okay.
Amazon, there's a link in our description you can check out. If you want to support the channel, you can go and get it on Amazon, or you could just go to like a local place and get it. So yeah, first sip, and then we're gonna rank it from 1 to 10, yuck to yum. So yuck being 1 and 10 being yum.
I like it.
It's good. I'm letting you off easy. On the other ones, they're not as good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
Well, I mean, this sort of tastes like a lapsang souchong
Oh, I've never had that. I'll have
Chinese
to
tea.
try that.
It has a little smoke to it.
Cool. You guys should check that tea out in the description as well.
Or I don't know. It's got a beautiful amber color.
It does.
too,
It's
which
actually made out of a type of bush down there, and it's really cool. It's very well known. It's going to pair really well with our next taste test. From yuck to yum, 1 to 10, how critical, how good are you going to give it? A rating?
It's a 10.
10. Let's go.
Love.
Very
Love
excited.
this tea.
So we made it to the end of this segment, guys. If you're excited to watch the next one, make sure to go to the next video right here. It should be somewhere in this area. Also, watch one of our videos called the 6 business books you have to read before you die. It is an extreme title, but these are really incredibly powerful books to get your business to like a higher level of growth. Go and read those books and then watch our next episode. And then if you want to watch the full episode, go to Spotify. That's where it's hosted. It's got the video on there. You can also go to our website, DJM.Design. And if you want to try this stuff, you can go to Daniël-James Media /yuck to yum. Thank you so much for watching this segment. I appreciate you guys. Like, share, subscribe. Let's be part of the community. Pump our stock of our company by liking that video to the max. Thanks, Anne-Marie.
You're welcome.
I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you. Come along and see us.